Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
I am that dude, Bodkins. Patty to patty. It's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy. Give a big round of applause for the one and only BodkinShow. I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another great episode of the Bodkins Show. I am your host, Bodkins, of course. Man, what a great weekend in sports it was. Thursday really kind of kicked it off with the draft. We got the NBA action going on. A lot of 2-2s. Some, Thunder up 3-0. Lakers down 3-1. So in the East, Boston's now up 2-1. So, up and down, a lot of great series. Obviously, NFL was still king with the draft. And tonight's guest, I don't want to keep him waiting any longer, but tonight's guest, big Bears fan, not happy with the Caleb Williams draft pick. Can't wait to pick his brain that. So we can't. It is noted Cubs fan. But to actor and sports pundit, tonight's guest, give it up for my main guy, Jacob Christner, baby.
You forgot Vietnam. You forgot Vietnam. You forgot. Yeah, but if it's good evening, it'd be good morning over there.
Yeah.
Either way, what's going on?
Jacob, thanks for joining me this evening. Let's start there at the Bears at the top. They take, nobody, the best kept secret in all sports that they were taking Caleb Williams after Justin Fields trade. You are not a fan, and I find that kind of in the minority right now.
Not only I am about as here's the deal with that. You remember the movie The Jerk?
Yeah.
Remember when Steve Martin calls himself, I was born a black boy from the there's that level of minority. There's that level. That's how bad it is.
Why though? Why?
All right. This has been going on for 20 years. 20 years. First, you're a Packers fan, so we're going to go to this whole thing. But I don't know if you'd heard the whole thing. I'm going to give the story because I've given it up to every other show this way in the world.
Go ahead.
First off, it started with when Kyle Orton was set up, and then they had all kinds of injuries. Bears fans went livid on the guy, because they wanted Rex, but Rex was hurt. But Orton was winning. They basically brought the pitchforks and torches with Orton winning. So finally, they bring in, and so with all those torches, and he struggles a little bit because he was injured. They bring in Rex.
Yep.
Rex has a couple of wins, then blows the playoff. The first one gets a whole season. They get a good season, great defense. He had some good times, and then he had the Arizona game and a few others. Then lost to Miami at home when they were 0-6 because of one of his 0-7, excuse me. But then they get to the Super Bowl, but then he has 5 turnovers by himself.
In the Super Bowl, right?
Yes. 2 interceptions, 3 fumbles. But here's the thing. He had 145 yards and 1 touchdown. Don't you think Kyle Orton could have gotten that without the picks and without the turnovers? I
still don't know if you're winning that game, though. I mean,
but the chances are better, is what I'm saying, because they would just handed the ball off.
Possibly, if you went back and said who had the better career, you would lean towards Kyle Orton.
Yeah. But what I was saying is he would have handed the ball off to it would have been a 200-yard game to Thomas Jones, most likely. That's my point. And it's like, but that's the thing is when you had an Orton, my whole thought process is like a coach. It's like a coach. You have to go with what you have. And I'm trying to think. Lovie Smith tried to go eye to eye and arm to arm with Peyton Manning because they thought he had an arm. He wouldn't have done that with Kyle Orton. He knows Kyle Orton is going to be a few yards. He's going to make a couple plays, and it's going to Thomas Jones. And the guy would have probably run for 200 yards the way that first quarter was going. That's the point. So then you get Orton back again, and then again they go the pitchforks out. They throw the pitchforks out there. Hello, how's it going? Whoever that was, the chat.
Danielle Barry, what's up?
Yeah. And it's like, so you throw that, and then guess what happens? They go 9-7, but then 21-12, and then they go get Cutler. They're this close. And then they change up their whole offense and do all that, and we already know what the whole Cutler situation is there. Then there's
the NFC Championship game.
I'm saying that was the one time. And then to me, that's a quit. He quit in that one. I don't care what they say. Because I don't think he quits if he's having a good game. I don't think he quits if he's having a good game and that injury happens. I just don't. Then you go all the way to Trubisky. Let's not forget they had Thomas Jones, and they threw a fit on Thomas Jones because he couldn't run the ball. He couldn't take the ball to the distance. They wanted Benson.
Yeah.
They wanted Benson. And guess what? They traded Thomas Jones. We're just going back to that. So let's go forward now, all the way to the Trubisky. Guess what? They wanted Watson. No one ever brought up Mahomes. No one.
That's my biggest take too, Jacob. Is like everybody's like they compare Caleb to Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, y'all don't even know Patrick Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes. So don't tell me that this guy's going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and it's like Mahomes was one of those run and shoot Big 12 guys, kind of like, remember David Klinger from the day, and all those guys that threw 800, or those guys from Hawaii that throw 800 yards in a game. He was that guy. How many times did they ever succeed in the NFL before Mahomes?
Yeah, none.
He was the one. No one knew. So they wanted Watson. Fine. Watson was better than Trubisky. Watson was better through his thing. Okay, fine. But you want to know why they stopped saying Watson? Because he is a pervert.
Yeah,
they didn't want to say. Yeah. They wanted to hide that. So now they say Mahomes. Mahomes was going to be down low before he was traded up. That's people forget that whole thing. So they do this with Trubisky. Trubisky wins. He wins some games. A lot of it from the defense, a lot of it from the run game, but he did his job.
Made the playoffs.
Yep, twice. Yeah, plus 20,
twice.
a plus 26 touchdown to interception ratio, 64%. Did all that stuff. They brought the pitchforks and torches out again, and then we get Fields from 29 to 21 to 11 and 29. And now we have Caleb, and I am living with the Caleb thing for the reason. Andy Reid didn't know Mahomes was Mahomes till that game. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Veach is the one that found Mahomes, though, or wanted Mahomes, and said, we got to go up and get this guy. This guy will put us there. So, I mean, did you want Justin Fields to stay?
No, but I am over. If it was between him and Caleb, I did, but for no one else, no, because they didn't prepare him in the first place. I can't stand Caleb Williams as a man. I like Justin as a man, as a player, he's got dog in him. He does. I've seen him when he was losing his games go off the field looking like Rocky Balboa. Just exhausted. He gave his everything, whether they got blown out or a close game. There's no dog like that in Caleb Williams. That's where the thing. But the biggest issue, the thing I wanted, I didn't know if you know who I wanted. I wanted Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix.
Oh, man, if they would have took Bo Nix, man.
I don't care. I wanted the meltdown. I wanted that meltdown. I was wishing for that meltdown. But no, I wanted one of those two because Bo Nix played with a busted leg at Auburn his final game.
Yeah.
Busted leg all the whole second half. I mean, dog in him. I mean, he's a tank. And then Jaden Williams is the opposite of tank.
Jaden Daniels.
Daniels. What did I say?
Williams.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't like to say Williams. No, Jaden Daniels is Jaden Daniels. I mean, he is small, but he's a beast. And he flings himself in there, and he's that guy that you get into the fourth quarter. Remember the Elway run for the first down?
Yeah. Yeah.
I see Jaden Daniels doing that. Being spun around for a first down with 3rd and 12. I see him doing that. See, I think like a coach, but I also think like I am competitive. I got to have that dog. I got to have that dog in the thing. I don't like Caleb because I think he's going to be worried about his TMZ credits. The website that he's always going to be on there. What's he wearing now? Look at his fingernail polish. You can't focus on both. You just can't.
I would think that Tom Brady did a little bit of that. He did a little bit of both. Maybe not quite like Caleb did, but the model-esque type.
He wasn't worrying about what TMZ was doing, though. They put him on there.
Yeah.
But remember this about Tom Brady. Remember this about Caleb. He's asking for every dime up front for his contract.
But we don't know that. Like, one thing I'm going to say this is, like, you get all these sources, like he wants part ownership. He wants this. Like, I've never heard Caleb Williams come out at a microphone and say anything.
Here's the thing with Caleb. The issue is the partial ownership. That's the one thing I don't hate about Caleb Williams, if it's true. I don't hate that because I love entrepreneurs. That's an entrepreneurial mindset. I hope he said that, because that gives me hope that he has that thought process. I want entrepreneurs everywhere, considering that's the way our economy should run. But where my issue lays is that let me explain from the thing what we were talking about, like that new stadium. They're going to be getting a lot of tax money if they get that stadium. They're a tax poor. They're not tax poor. They are a cash poor team. They're not very cash open, which means if you don't give him the money, and he backloads it like Ohtani. Like, he backloads everything. The issue is you're never going to be able to get rid of him if he's a big pain in the ass. You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying there.
You'll never get rid of him if he's a pain in the ass, and you never will, because no one's going to want to take on that contract.
Well, Denver got rid of Russ, and I've talked to Big Mike on this program last week, said that, if Watson doesn't perform this year, he could be gone, and we saw how big his contract was.
Well, the thing about Russ, they took 2 years off of that, is what I'm saying on this.
Yeah.
He's older, and so Pittsburgh, I wanted him in Chicago. I wanted Russ in Chicago because of the 1.2 mil. If I wouldn't say a word about Caleb if Russ was there.
You could sit behind behind
him. Sit behind him. Absolutely. I wouldn't have said a word. It's like if it was Russ. I mean, I'm not kidding you. 1.2 million for the year. Don't know from the next. He's got to pay for that part. And the big thing is, and if he's good, you can extend. If he's not, you can say goodbye and you can move on.
And no cost, yeah.
Yeah, Pittsburgh has a lucky break on that. But where I'm at with that situation is he's an older guy that you can do something like that. But this is a younger guy that's going to be backloaded money. A ton of it, even more than his. And they're not going to be able to get. Here's the whole thing about Russ. You said it's going to be, you're saying you got rid of Russ. Russ by itself is a good man. He's a
corny motherfucker. I'll give him that.
Who cares? Good guy. I mean, if he's corny, he's good. Who cares? A lot of black people just say the word corny because they think he's white. It's just some goofiness. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. But I'm saying though, he's a good man that helped raise kids. But that's the thing. You're going to get the only distraction you're going to get out of him is he says corny things and acts like whatever.
I don't know how good of a person he is, because it doesn't seem like he's ever endured himself into his teammates.
I think he's a private dude. I really do. And I think he goes with his family. And I think you need to endure yourself with your teammates. You're correct. But I'm saying, in comparison to something like this,
I've never heard one of his teammates really kind of come out and support him, especially in Seattle.
No, you're correct. Is what I'm saying is he's always sounded private, which means, and you do need to get in with your teammates. I mean, remember they even stuck with Tom Brady. Remember that. So that just says it. But what I'm bringing is in comparison with that, if you have the $1.2 million guy in comparison to Caleb, if he's the pain in the ass, you got to get rid of him. He's going to be hard because then you're dealing with all the distractions. But I just say that's just a hypothetical, the backload. If there's no backload and they give him all the money, there's not going to be anything as far as let's just say, for instance, you need to pick up another running back. You need to pick up somebody else on defense, like for free agency. Zero, because he's going to take it all. that those old ashtrays in the ownership will not put one dime out there if he gets all that money. So there's the situation. I wanted Jaden or I wanted Bo economically and their dogs.
So, I mean, but Caleb's coming into maybe the best Bears team that they've had offensively ever.
That's where I have you're right. That's where I have the worry.
The expectations will be high for this kid because of that offense.
Well, yeah, and I have that worry that he's going to be another Adam Morrison. Do you know what I'm talking about with Adam Morrison?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one situation. Here's the issue. I don't care that he cried. Tebow cried. Larry Bird, the biggest dog alive, cried at the end of the Indiana State game. I don't care about the crying part. Adam Morrison cried with 3 seconds left in the dang game when you still need to be out there and take charge, leaving a center that never shot threes to shoot the three. That's what I'm worried about with Caleb. If he has that thought process, it's like there's going to be time left and he breaks down. And he admits he gets mental issues. Is he going to have that? Is he going to have that dog when 30 seconds left? 30 seconds left. Are you going to have that? You get my point?
Yeah, I get what your point is. What I'm just saying is like he's coming into the most talented Bears team. There, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Swift.
Odunze, which I love the Odunze pick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Odunze. Yeah. Him coming in like that's a squad that offensively they can go. It'll be up to him in that offensive line, which I don't know if they've addressed too much of that in the draft this year.
I might not have said much if they would have gotten Alt. If they would have gotten Alt, I might have kind of kept quiet because he's going to be protected. But there's another thing you're dealing with. You've got 5 new offensive linemen and one center with a couple of years and one center that's being tutored from the right side to center. Yeah. So it's like, is this going to be good or are they going to come out right away? You know.
So, Mr. First Down, shout out my guy Sam, was at the draft and he talked with a bunch of Bears fans, not as unanimously accepted Williams as he thought, and Scott says, I don't think we'll know until the Bulls start flying. Still, could be a different story in the NFL.
Well, Scott, this is the things I say. I'll admit he does have maturity issues. Yes.
Yeah, he does. Okay. I think that's anybody, and we'll find out how he's going to be here in a few months.
Well, when I said I like Daniels and Bo, age. I'm just saying it's like, the one thing about it is Bo got he got a red shirt and a COVID red shirt. Plus his leg. Plus the thing, he's got age, time. He's as mature as Tebow. Oh, and better arm. I mean, Tebow's main number one thing was leadership. I mean, I'm just saying he's got a better arm with the whole thing, but he's got the same maturity to be a leader. This is where every time I think of Caleb and everybody celebrating it, and I'm glad he brought that up, I think of, we got Justin Fields from Barstool, Chicago. From Barstool, Chicago. I hate those guys. I hate Barstool. I absolutely hate them. But I remember that, and it's like,
Nix is a weeding.
Huh?
Nix is weeding. That's what Craig says.
We don't. The thing about it is, Whedon also had he also had absolutely zero pain tolerance. Nix has got huge pain tolerance, huge. So there's
Craig is a noted Bears fan and as well, and he says Caleb was the right choice. So.
No, he wasn't. You're gonna find that out. See, I hate Barstool, and they did that. They treat everybody when they do something like that was treating Trubisky. Guess what? Trubisky's not a Hall of Famer, nor was he the star. Let's just say that. But I try to bring this up in every show. He wasn't the star. He was a cog in a wheel for a team to win games, which they were winning games.
One thing I don't like even with Caleb is they've done this now. They've drafted a quarterback on a lame duck coach that could be fired that year because he's going, you know what I mean? Like they did it with Trubisky, they did it with Fields, and now they're doing it with Caleb. Like that shit don't make no sense, y'all. Like you got to change something up, or you know what I mean? Like it's now because if Eberflus doesn't win this year, and I don't know what the expectations are, whether it's playoffs or bust, or you got to have a winning season. He very well could be gone. A lot of people thought he was going to be gone at the end of this year.
Oh, Eberflus, this is the thing about Eberflus. He's got – I'm not a big fan of his, but I think like a coach or front office or whatever. My rule, if I ever get a front office job that has that kind, makes that kind of thing, you'll remember this in years ahead if I would get like that. If you win one more game than the next year, you stay, which will irritate fans. But I want to see a.
Unless you're like a playoff or a Super Bowl team, right? Like.
Right, no.
Andy Reid came.
No. I'm just saying this. No. I expect to be taking over a crappy squad. That's what I'm saying.
So you're saying if you're like a sub 500 team?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
If you go one game over, I don't care what fans say. You've already heard me with fans anyway. I don't care what fans say. If you go one game over, you're climbing a ladder. I want the ladder climb. So in that case, Eberflus has climbed the ladder. He's won more games every year. So I'm not a big fan of his, but he's doing exactly what I would be doing. If you've won more games, I'm not getting rid of you just because. But here's the thing. Trubisky, they had mistakes with Trubisky to begin with. Number one, they got stupid Glennon. Which here's the thing. If you could have kept Brian Hoyer at Nichols, yeah, he was the only Bear. Here's some trivia. Only Bears quarterback in history to have 4 straight 300-yard games. Only one is Brian Hoyer. And it's the funniest thing alive. They could have kept him for pennies and sat Mitch a year and let him learn. Instead, you get Glennon, 4 games, horrible. Here comes Trubisky.
Which was an awful signing. Yeah, everybody knew that was going in.
Yep. Then Justin Fields has to deal with Nagy, who I could not stand. Eberflus is in the lame duck too. No, they'll take him. If he doesn't win now with this, he's gone. Yes, he has 2 years left. They'll just pay him off. But then you have Fields, who had Nagy, who I really couldn't stand because of what happened on the last one. But he was terrible to Fields.
Yeah.
So now you're going to get Eberflus, who's going to basically, if they don't win now, he's going to be that means all 3 will have 3 different offensive changes. All 3 will. And
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
3 chemistries, 3 everything. And it's like, these are the things I talk about and I think about. I don't just do Barstool. I think Barstool is for low IQ. Yeah. The McCaskets. Well, they also obviously don't pay for nursing homes. I mean, they're oldest. But go ahead.
Real quick, to kind of wrap up this Bears conversation real fast. What would you put their win total at right now? The draft is settled. I know we still got get into camp, but it's fucking May, so
I'm still 6 to 7. I am still 6 to 7 because it's like I'm still 6 to 7 because by itself it's like I am not going to turn him into CJ Stroud. That you still got a maturity issue you got to deal with. I think there'll be plays made because he is a playmaker, but so is Justin. So is Mitch. They're all playmakers. Every one of them made plays. But Justin just made more on his legs. But it's like all of them made plays. But these are the things that everything I'm bringing up is think about that for a second. Is what do you do when you have all 3 of your other quarterbacks that you've drafted? Then they have to change team chemistry in 1 year after. And in truth, what do you do with that? That's what I'm bringing up with everybody. It's like a lot of people are thinking Madden fantasy.
Yeah. So Scott says here that they're 8.5 wins according to Vegas. He took the under already. Rookie QB needs time to mature and be who they are in the NFL. Plus, they got 2 playoff teams in their division.
Who he is, not they. I'm not going to use that pronouns crap. Who he is. No. Well, guess what? If he wants to go off and try to be Dennis Rodman, let him. He's just going to drive me nuts doing that. But it's like, yeah, I'm not going to play that. I already have an idea what he's going to do if he's successful in the NFL anyway, and it scares me.
So Craig is saying, too, back to the firing thing. He says Bears just hired a new offensive staff. They won't clean house after 1 year with a rookie.
Craig, you might be correct, but remember this, Craig. When you hire a new coach, they want their own. Everybody wants their own. Because it's their own chemistry, their own everything. Which means
what's this, year 3 at Eberflus? This year 3?
Yeah. Yes. No, it'd be, wait a minute. Because the first year was year 4.
This is year 4.
Yep, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah, fourth year. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
He says that's why Eberflus has a 2-year window. We'll see what happens with the.
Now when you've added this many people, that's why it's like you got to remember. We look at NBA right now. They're already the Phoenix Suns already added Vogel, which it was stupid to get rid of Monty Williams, and then they're already Vogel has a ring and he has more regular season wins this year than the Monty did last year, and they're trying to fire him anyway. These front offices are ridiculous, so you just can't tell.
Well, then it just saves the general manager because it's not them, it's not them, it's not me, it's them scenario, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what everybody likes to do. But
Yep.
you're the guy that hired him, so
Yeah,
that's what I was.
exactly.
You know, same thing with head coaches when they're like, I had to fire my defensive coordinators, you know, and Matt LaFleur is fired 2 now. I think he's actually on his third defensive coordinator. Might be second one. But it's just like, oh, it's not me. It's them. It's clearly them. You know what I mean? Like I had to fire everybody. Eberflus fired everybody on his offense, but you hired those guys. So it's just it's.
Well, there's so much pressure that they put on, and truthfully, and with the ownership is kind of ridiculous anyway because they're still thinking 1985.
Yeah,
they are. I call Virginia McCaskey an old ashtray anyway. She's 101 years old. She is absolutely.
I mean, there was talk. I think after she dies, is there talk after she dies that they sell the team?
God, I hope so. I don't know. I hope so because the McCaskets. I call them the McCaskets for a reason. The McCaskets are about as. I can say this. They look forward when it comes to all their technology. Give them that. They're older people that hire younger to be able to get the technology, but their football mind is still in 46 defense. They remember the Bears still have one of the top defenses in the league after Alan Williams left. Still one of the very top. I mean, Eberflus has a great defensive mind. But those are the issues that they have. They still have that defensive mind, and this is an offensive world. You just need a defense in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I want to switch a little subjects here from Bears talk to how about our Chicago Cubs? I mean, they're down 2-0 right now to the Boston, but we're in first place. This is like the latest we've ever been in first place in like 5 years. So
that's because there's no David Ross.
Enjoy it. Yeah, let's start there. To me, that was the big move, signature move in the offseason is, you know, sneaking in the back door and bringing Craig Counsell down the interstate in a move unexpected. I had people people tell me, "Oh, we went about it the wrong way. You should have told David." Blah blah. Hey, you know what? Sometimes it's like when you go to replace a player, you fucking go out to free agency and you say, "Hey, you want this spot? Because we got a shithole fucking quarterback. We're gonna go get Peyton Manning." Okay, Peyton's here. Sorry about your bad luck.
Can I bring up one more thing about the Bears before we go on to this? Can I bring one more thing up? I wanted to bring the thing where it really agitated me with the Bears fans. When there's the whole thing of trying to replace Mitch, everything I said online, everything I've said, see, I wasn't with you guys quite yet with the sideline. I wasn't with them yet when that happened. So I wasn't quite there. But when all of that was going on, it's like, guess who was in the area? Guess who was in the area for once in our lives? Tom Brady. Not to say that the Bears would have gotten Brady.
Yeah.
But the amount of slobbering and all the stuff that they did with Caleb Then they did it with Cam Newton to try to get him. You're not trying to get the greatest quarterback of all time. You want to know what those Bears fans did? They just did memes and made fun of his last pick six in the end zone. That's all they did. Meanwhile, he goes to Tampa Bay and he wins another Super Bowl.
They try to do it with the Russ Wilson too. Remember, there was like a deal done in place, pretty much.
Oh yeah, and now they pretend they didn't do that. Give me a break. But that's the thing. These Bears fans, they are like high school kids that want the cool guy to look at them. They want the cool guy looking at them. They accepted an 11-29 record because he was flashy and cool, and he looked at me. It's like we have our own Taylor Swift. I called them Field Swifties for a reason. He looked at me. He held my hand. I'll never watch it again. That's what they feel like. Meanwhile, Tom Brady was not to say that the Bears would have got him. Tom Brady was in the middle of everything, and no one cared. They don't care about winning. They want to be entertained. And that's what I'm so agitated about Bears fans. All of this is more entertainment. And if they would do the same thing to Caleb in 3 years and he has to go, they will just complain and whine again because he entertained them.
Well, speaking of entertainment, I don't know if you know about the Bulls situation. You're a Bulls fan too, where they've led they're up there in attendance, right, every year. Sure. But the owner has pretty much come out and said, like, pretty much we don't need to do anything. Fans are still coming, and we're in close enough. We're entertaining our fans close enough to where we're playing late games, in April and May, meaningful games in April and May.
Remember this, okay? And this is what fans don't do because they are, I call them emotional nitwits. Here, remember this. I'm giving this as an example. They had Thibodeau, Hattie. They were legitimately playing real games. Eastern Conference Final, playoffs, 56 wins, 58 wins, 61 wins one year. Just ridiculous. Had to run him out because he wasn't finishing the job. Who do they go get? Hoiberg, then Boylan.
Yeah.
Everything I bring up with Bulls fans, every time. You had a winning coach. You want a winning coach now. You want a winning coach. You had him.
Well, some of that was the GM wanted Fred Hoiberg.
Well, they sent
Paxton, Gar Paxton.
You're right. No, it was Garpax. So they call him Garpax.
Yeah.
They call it Garpax. That was an unnecessary rebuild. They started fast. They did an unnecessary rebuild. But guess what? They brought the pitchforks out on Thibodeau. Like they did with Lovey after 10 wins. They brought that. It's like he doesn't finish a job. You don't even have a chance to finish with the other two coaches. Get a proper replacement, idiot. Not you, obviously, but get a proper replacement, moron. This is what I say to every fan. Proper replacement. It's like they want to get rid of Vogel. You get rid of Vogel now, you're probably having 30 wins next year in Phoenix. But everything is emotions. So the Bulls, Billy Donovan was brought in to take over a grease fire of a program, of a franchise. Remember, what would we say? Jim Boylan once called a timeout on a 3-on-1 fast break of their own.
Yeah.
Because he didn't select the right setup. No one trusted anybody, everything like that. That's what Donovan had to come into. Donovan has them at adequate to meh, which is far better. Which is they were literally DePaul of the NBA before that.
Yeah, but I don't think Billy's the answer either. I don't think they're in. They need to do something. The GM hasn't made any damn moves in like 2 years. This core of DeRozan, Levine, and Vujacic, that's not. You're not winning a championship with that.
Yeah. I'm not saying don't let Donovan go. I mean, don't do that whatsoever. I mean, Donovan did his job for what he did. He got him out of grease fire, and they are, like I said, they were DePaul of the NBA. He got him out of that. They are the adequate to meh, which people think they're frustrated with it, but it's so much better than it was.
To me, that's the worst spot to be, though, because if you're 7-10, then you're not winning a championship with that roster, right? It's not like you're 7-10 with a bunch of young guys, say like the Kings. You're 7-10 with a bunch of older guys who've been at it and aren't gaining. You know what I mean? Already have the experience. Like, you need to tear the shit down and blow it up and build from scratch, and then hopefully you get some good picks and lottery, like build for the future, because what you got, being 8-8 in football is the absolute worst shit to be back-to-back years. Being the 8-10 years, 8-10 seed in basketball, worst fucking shit if you're in the back-to-back, because you're not doing anything.
Let me ask you this question. Are you going? I'm just going to give a hypothetical. Are you going to get a Steve Kerr, a Monty Williams? We'll just say Thibodeau again, hypothetical. Even though it would never happen. A Thibodeau, let's see, a Chris Finch, let's see, a Ty Lue. I'm just giving names that have won. Are you going to get those guys after Boylan?
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying right now. Maybe you're not, but
I was just saying as an example. You're not getting them after Boylan is my point. None of them would want to come into the grease fire like that. I'm just saying Donovan did his job. If you want to get rid of him now, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he did his job, so let's get rid of him.
You did He wasn't coming in with a chance at winning any championships.
Well, that's like, so let's just say, like, that's kind of like back to the Cubs, David Ross, and even Rick Renteria, right? They did their job, and it's time to
Dale Swain too. It's like people got mad at him for the things, but they worked hard for him and it got him ready. Dale Swain too for Madden. Yeah, it's like
Rick Renteria was right before Madden. It was Rick.
Yeah,
Dale Swain was after. I think Dale was after Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah, he was. No, you want to know what? You're right. You want to know what what from here on out? Do you want to know what Donovan's career path is? There's nothing wrong with it. His career path will be taking horrible franchises and helping build it up, kind of like the Alvin Gentry, the old Bill Fitch. That you get horrible to get you into the playoff run to everything. I'm going to make a guess here. I'm going to give a prediction. His next job will be Detroit. Because it will be, because I do not see Monty Williams there long. It is a grease fire. He can't even do anything about that. They're going to bring in the guy, like they're going to know the NBA. Forget the fans. NBA is going to know Donovan is a fixer. Needs time, gets players.
I don't think so.
No, because
if he was going to go, he would have went this year to Kentucky.
He's going to get his job. You got to remember, you can fire as stupid as it is. You can fire a Vogel, you can fire a Vogel, and I'm just saying a Frank Vogel, because they had the expectations with his ring, bubble or not. They had expectations. You can fire that. Hard to fire a Donovan when his job was to come in to help a program or a franchise. So I see him 3-4 years in Detroit, getting them back out, going to another crappy team somewhere. That'll be the rest of his career, and there's nothing wrong with it because it's job security.
Yeah. I want to get back to the Cubs here real quick, because we got about just 15 more minutes or so. But what's your expectations of the Cubs this year? I mean, right now, they're probably right at my expectations was to win this division. I'm surprised we're winning as many games, and we've looked as good without Justin Steele, with Kyle Hendricks, with the ERA of 12, and now on the IL. We've missed Cody Bellinger's on the IL. We've kind of made a makeshift, but, one thing's for sure is that, we're putting the right guys out. We're putting out, to me, we're putting out the best lineup every day that we can.
90 to 92 wins I've got. I'm not saying they're winning it yet. I think the Braves are just too tough.
Well, yeah. I don't think just make the playoffs and win the division is what I want.
Here is where the Braves are so tough. We got to remember, I showed it on my Facebook. The Braves, I've been to 3 games this year already. You know what I'm saying? The Truist is a gorgeous area, gorgeous field. There's a thing about this. 7 of their 9 players have an on-base percentage 70 to 100 points over their batting average. Which means, right now Acuna is 267, but he's like 398 on base. I tell this to people all the time about the on-base percentage. It does not get you your contracts. But you want to know what it does? 100, and if you've got a high on-base percentage, 162 games of comfortable at-bats. When I say comfortable at-bats, everybody struggles. Everybody has about has a 1 for 20 week, right?
Yeah.
1 for 23 week. Everybody has that. Everyone. Ohtani will have one somewhere in there. Everybody does. When you have a high on-base percentage, it means you're getting on base. It means that you still see the ball well. If you are hitting 342 and you have a 365 on base, that 342 will go down. And then you'll struggle. And then you swing at everything. So this is where I'm afraid for the Cubs is I see 3 guys with high on base, like Bush, Tauchman, and definitely not Morel. He swings at everything. Bush, Tauchman, and I think one more that have a high on base percentage.
Suzuki's kind of got a
Thank you. 3 guys. The Braves have 7 plus 3 more on the bench with 70 to 100 points over. They're on base to there, which means that you're always comfortable at the plate. The Cubs don't have that. Cubs do not have that comfort level yet. So, but I love where the Cubs are at because they have a high-powered offense. Kyle Hendricks, you've known he's been my guy forever. But the mistake he made after that surgery is he tried to get more spin on the ball and get more speed. That was never his game. He doesn't have he was a placement guy. He never had the speed, and you can just hit him at will. He was the guy with the 3 pitches, 4 pitches, ground ball. He is now throwing 8 pitches at a time, trying to strike people out. That is why he's at 12.90 ERA. It's everybody else. They got Imanaga. Steele's going to come back soon.
Yeah.
Steele's going to come back soon. You've got Tyon looks good. I liked him out of the deal. What's up, man cave? I like Italian. I like him. It's like he's looking good so far. About $1.80 ERA.
Yeah, he's had 1 start. I'm not. I know you're a bit.
Two starts.
Yeah, you like Tyon way more than I do, but we'll see what happens.
When he's on is like the first 2 games. It's like he gets it inside and he places it well. It's when he gives up a pile of runs is when he stops placing. So it's like I like him because he was 14 wins in crazy New York. So he has the possibility. But here's the thing. If you're going to continue to play Hendricks, he has 1 good inning in him. Every game, every start this year, 1 dominant inning somewhere, always. That has like 8 pitches, and he gets 8 pitches, gets his ground balls. It's like the old Hendricks. Put him in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Put him in the bullpen. Put him in the 7th, 8th inning, 3-2. He's rested. He's everything. Get a guy that's not going to throw a ton of pitches, and get him ready for the closer.
Well, speaking of that, that's what's missing on this team. Albert Alzai, we're in the first month here. He's already had 4 blown saves. Like, he's not a closer. He can't.
He was a closer last year. My issue that I want to see is I want to pick up somebody if we're going to get it. If we're going to get rid of Alzai, because you're correct on something like that. After last year, just said goodbye because he had 22 saves and he looked pretty dang good. And that was just in a limited time. Here's the thing, though. He's got 3 saves. Everybody else, there's 2 others that have 1 save.
Yeah, I don't know if we have a closer, like a bona fide closer on the roster.
Yeah.
Maybe Pittsburgh starts faltering. You can call for Chapman again. I don't know. That kid from Oakland, the A's, he's pretty good. He's got good slide top stuff. You could probably get him for a soda machine and the dishwasher.
I'd rather have the kid from the A's than I would, and I'll explain why. Than I would. I don't want the guy from that. I don't want a guy from 2016 back. I want a new team. I'll tell you why. When you have a guy that throws 103, 104, and he still does. Don't get that wrong.
Yeah.
When you still have that, back in those times, you didn't have a whole lot of guys that could jack that ball unless he got tired. Ronald Acuna eats up 100-mile-per-hour pitches like nothing. It goes out at 200. Ohtani eats those up like nothing. They play everybody now. They play the Angels. Mike Trout hits those. Mike Trout hits 470-foot homers like nothing. I can name probably if we had time. We don't have a lot of time now. I could probably name 10 or 12 more that would just jack him up when he starts to struggle.
Yeah.
He would start out with 3 straight saves, and then you're going to get an Acuna. It's going to eat him up. And that's where I'm like, I would rather have somebody else unproven.
I get it. Before we, the last little topic I want to ask you is non-sports related. How did you get into acting? I know I looked you up on IMDb. You're actually credited as a producer in like 2 or 3.
I got 6 on there. I've been on 20 years. I've been trained for a while.
Okay.
I've been trained for a while. It's like this stuff with Sideline Sports that I was at was an amazing training for for being on camera, because you have to do on-camera auditions. It was amazing because I was on I have 2,000 hours on the air. So, and then plus I help actors. Let's see, I have a couple of actors and a couple of actors and an actress that I help with their auditions. That's on video too. So I have the ability to do all this kind of stuff. And it was like, and Sideline really helped because before I had trouble auditioning on camera, but now I can go cold.
What led you down that road though? Like, were they small parts? Just obviously.
I come from a engineering and contractor family, construction, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. It wasn't that. Otherwise, Dad would have opened the business up again. It's like, but I didn't want to do it. So I'm at Lee University in Tennessee, and I ended up having to take a Chinese class, which I am definitely. I know ni hao and ni hao ma, and that's about it. And I mean, languages are not my thing on that part. So I got dancing with culture. I was dead to rights on languages, and the teacher knew it. So she had me help make a movie about her English for a second language course. End up getting an A in that and B in the course, and end up just helping with movies. And so I got into it from there. Moved to Atlanta. I got a bunch of training from a bunch of huge teachers. I did not appreciate them the way I should have, like I will now. And it's like, I'm going to be 46 in August, and it's a new part of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Jacob, before we get out here, I don't know if you know, I do a bit at the end of the show. It's Turd of the Week, Dog of the Week. I'm going to put you on the spot. You can go after I go.
Which dog? D-O-G or D-A-W-G?
D-A-W-G. So I'll give out. I always do the Turd of the Week first, and then while I'm doing mine, you think of yours. So my Turd of the Week is none other than the Atlanta Falcons general manager. I mean, drafted Michael Penix in the top 9 it's not that you drafted Penix at 9. If you did not pay Kirk Cousins $100 million in the offseason, nobody would have cared that you drafted Michael Penix at 9. And it's not like this kid needs a whole lot of time because he played a lot of college football. He's not a project like, my guy Love is. He's not a project like some other quarterbacks coming in. This guy's pretty polished. And if you would have told me, hey, they're going to draft him at 9, I'd have been like, hey, good for Penix and good for Atlanta. But then you forgot that it's like you forgot you paid Kirk Cousins $100 million in the offseason. For what reason? It makes no sense. Now you can't, it's my guy Michael Lombardi, he said on his podcast, you can't wear 2 Rolexes at the same time. Quarterbacks aren't interchangeable. Only one can play at one time. So the Atlanta Falcons general manager is my Turd of the Week.
My Turd of the Week is the whole last 20 years of the Chicago Bears fan base, and I brought it up the whole darn time on that. The point I make, everyone, is when I'm saying something like this. I brought some of the part up, but the way I bring every bit of it up is this. Quit acting like 9-year-olds. Quit saying, we got Justin Evan Fields, and you're 56 years old. You are supposed to be the man of your house or whatever, or be the dad, or be everything like that, to have to make logical decisions. What the idea of emotional nitwit comes from, you're supposed to be smarter than you are, and you make emotional, stupid decisions all the time when it comes to sports. Why I call it emotional nitwit. But you've done this time and time and time and time and time again. You always want flashy. You always want the TMZ. You always want somebody that looks cool for them to say, Taylor Swift. You always want that instead of the winner. There's been 2 winning quarterbacks, true winning long-term quarterbacks in the last 20 years. It has been Kyle Orton and it has been Mitchell Trubisky. Everybody else has lost long-term. Every single one of the ones that they wanted, of all the players, every single one of them all had flashy highlights, ones that you've gone back to over and over again. It means you don't care about losing. You don't care about losing. You want to look cool. You did when Tyson Bagent won his 2 games, both the games that he won and he played decently. You said he was boring. You said, I'm glad we won, but he's so boring. That's what my problem is with you folks. You want to have Taylor Swift as your quarterback. And the thing is, that's why the Bears keep losing.
Oh, man. The whole Bears fan base is a turd of the week. I don't know if we've had a whole fan base like that in the last 20 years.
Oh, you have no idea, yes.
So my dog of the week is none other than Jalen Brunson, leading the New York Knicks today. 47 points in the Garden. The Knicks are up 3 games, or I guess I was actually on the road. My bad, not in the Garden, in Philadelphia. But nonetheless, the Knicks now take a 3-1 series lead, have all the momentum, and Jalen Brunson is doing it all. 47 today, leading this New York Knicks almost to the second round. Jalen Brunson, my dog of the week.
My dog of the week is, I'm going to say this, Joel Embiid. It's because I found out that not only does he have his ankle problems and his foot problems that he normally has and his knee problems, he's also now got Bell's palsy. He now has Bell's palsy. His one side of his face, and until he gets the eye thing and stuff like that, sinks. It is incredibly painful. It is incredibly uncomfortable. It is crazy, and it can get itself worse, and it could take his career down a few years. You know what I'm saying? And he's playing his ass off. He is hustling with a team that doesn't have a lot. And I'm saying, I grew up with Larry Bird. That was my hero. Larry Bird was my hero, and he played with a back that you had to go to the hospital after the game and put him in traction. And he came up with some heroics. This is close to that. I didn't think we'd see dogs like this anymore. The one is so harsh. Because guess what? That's not James Harden. James Harden's going to blow it at the end. You've heard me say it 1,000 times. At the end of it, at the end of this whole playoffs, he'll blow it because he always does.
He almost blew today, a 31-point lead.
Fine. He had 2 good ones last year. 2 good ones last year with Philly, and then he blew his final game. He'll do it again. But I'm saying Embiid gives his tail off. He is, and the thing is, now with Bell's palsy, it's going to take away some of his career. This is a warrior. That's a dog to me. When I say dog, you're talking to somebody who wanted Daniels or Knicks. I want somebody that 4th quarter and 50 seconds left is coming right out there. You know who else has that dog in him is Patrick Mahomes. That's the point of what I'm saying. It's the eye of that tiger. It's everything. And boy, Embiid, I can't give him enough. That is old school to play through that.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah. So, hey, same friend, same series, dog of the week. Jacob, before we get out of here, where can all the people find you at?
Well, not on any of his shows anymore. I was on Sideline Sports. You'll see me on Jake the Pundit on Twitter. Jake the Pundit on Twitter. I'm Jacob Christner on Facebook. Jacob Christner on Facebook. And one of the things is and stuff like that. I'm also going to be. I got a Ko-fi and a Patreon. I'm working on right now. I'll tell people at that point in time and get it on there. Just getting that stuff like that. And it's like I'm going to be putting all my clips on and I'm getting them, building my stuff back up. So just and if the right time comes along, I'll be back on the air. But we'll see.
Amen to that. Well, I appreciate you joining me, folks. I'll be back tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern, for a new episode of the Let's Talk Sports Show. We'll have Jim and Jonathan on, as always, as we do every Monday. We'll get their thoughts on their team's draft picks, plus a little Stanley Cup playoff. And we'll talk a little baseball, obviously, with Jonathan Grisham, catch up on how his boys did over the weekend. So be a friend, tell a friend, folks, like, subscribe, share. I'll see you tomorrow night. This has been another great episode of the Bodkin Show. For my guest, Jacob Christner, I'm Bodkins. I'm going to hit that outro. We'll see you tomorrow night, folks.